So getting ready to make some motor passes today. Gotta get this 110 out of there. I just took the line off the pump and it just siphons out by itself. So we'll get the fuel out, put in the timing, and I'm gonna put new spark plugs in it because these are 8s. I think all I have is 7s, but we'll see what happens.
So that hesitation stumble when you peg the throttle, like we said in the last video, the 42s, look, the race gas is purple.
Yeah.
And it smells like candy. But anyway, we're draining all that out, like you just seen in the little clip before this one. But yeah, the stumble, I mean, I don't know. When I first put all this stuff on there, I had to idle it up. Well, once we got to the drag strip and drove it around, which I'd already put the car through a few heat cycles, I don't know. I had to idle it back down and the stumble just magically disappeared. Which,
got the 45s on it though.
yeah, I bought 42 and 45 squirters, and when it had the vacuum leak and we tried those, it didn't make a difference through the nitrous solenoid. But when we fixed the nitrous solenoid, it still had the stumble, and we were just ready to cry and throw in the towel. And I was like, let's try those squirters now. Chris was making fun of me because I bought them. But he said it ain't that, it's something else. But anyway, I don't know. I honestly don't know. We put the 42s in it after fixing the solenoid nitrous solenoid leak, which was causing a vacuum leak, and it got better. We put the 45s in there and it got way better. But it was still there. But once we got to the track, and it just magically went away. And then the car idled up. So I had to idle it back down. And as far as the nitrous goes, I don't understand that mainline kit 250, which only has an orifice in the nitrous solenoid to flow at 200. The car trapped 130. This is a 300 shot jets, and we're still trapping 130. I don't understand that.
It's just in the tune. It needs to be tuned.
Yeah, I think
Dialed in a little better.
it just needs dialed in good. It needs dialed in better. It needs the AFR is if you watched the last video, we put the GoPro right there, so really all you could see was the gauges and a little bit over the hood, but we did that for a reason. And in the daytime, man, it's hard to see them numbers. But at nighttime, when you record it, in the daytime they like flicker, and I mean, it's just really hard to see. It makes a flickering effect on the camera, but at nighttime you can see them crystal clear. So, which y'all probably seen that in the last video, but it's way too fat. And like another guy that had posted on one of our last videos, he thinks it needs more timing. I'm agreeing with him. But the car dynoed the best, which we didn't check that balancer and tab. We didn't check that when we built the motor, and we should have. And I do got a piston stop, and I can check it. I'm probably going to check it one day. But the relationship to the tab and the balancer, all that might not be correct. But on the dyno, with that tab and balancer setup, it dynoed best on motor at 34 degrees. So I just assumed we'd pull 2 degrees per 50 shot out of that. And when we read the plugs, we read a plug on one pass, and the timing strap was way down towards the threads. So, and it was still fat, but I guess when you add timing, it leans them out a little bit. So we went to 25 degrees locked out. And the thing about it is we made another pass, and he was popping and cracking all the way down the track. I was like, oh no, hopefully we didn't put too much timing in it. But come to find out, that fresh bottle I thought was a fresh bottle was about empty. But it was still heavy. I mean, when I picked it up, it felt heavy, but it just ran out of pressure. It just flat ran out of pressure.
It almost made it out of first gear. I was going right when I was about to shift into second, it just started breaking up.
And we could tell by the by the trap speed, because it only trapped 125. Plus, it was cutting out the whole way down through there. But yeah, so I'd give him a bad bottle. And in the first bottle that we were using, it had a leak in it. You couldn't visibly see the leak, but if you let that bottle set for about a month, it empties itself by itself. But I think the rubber seal in it just needs fixed. And unfortunately, the only bottle that we could put a 6AN fitting on for his 6AN nitrous line, well, the only bottle that we had that I knew for a fact had never been touched and was full, didn't have a gauge on it. And I ordered Next Day Air from Summit to get a 6AN with a 1H MPT in it, so I could put a gauge in it, because I have extra nitrous gauges.
I had about 4 gallons.
But I guess Next Day Air to them means 3 days. I don't know. So they said it wouldn't be here till Monday. So we put that one on there, and I'm sure we'll explain this in the video before this one, but we put that one on there, and we were heating the bottle up, and we knew we needed to heat it at least 15 minutes or so. But as we was heating it up, they called last call for test and tune. So I don't know what the bottle pressure was. We have no clue what the bottle pressure was, but Christopher went up there and made a pass, and it hit its best lick on a full bottle that we don't even know what the bottle pressure was at. And it ran at 1019 at 129 with a 1.42 60 foot. The empty bottle with the good pressure that we had the pass before that was his best 60. Actually, it's the best 60 any car we've ever owned done, 1.4. And it kind of amazes me that this car does that with a turbo 350 transmission and a 350 gear, because that one has a 4L60E, and if y'all know anything about transmissions, the 4L60E's got like a 348 first gear, or no, 306 or 308 first gear. The turbo 350 only has a 2.48 first gear. So 2.48 plus 355. Now, the higher the number, the lower the gear, and the faster you take off. So you figure a 248 plus a 350 gear and a 306 plus a 410 gear, you think that one would take off way faster. But he takes, I think my best 60 on that one is a 143, and he just hit a 142 and a 140 yesterday. So, but yeah, we're going to do some bracket racing on motor. We drained the race gas out of it because this motor was dyno tuned on 93. And you put that race gas in there, and believe it or not, it hurts the AFR 1 full point. So on motor, it's like 12.5, 12.8 on 93 octane. And then you put that race gas in there, it's like 11.5 on motor. So where it runs so fat on that VP 110, it actually slows the car down a tenth. Now, if the motor was tuned for VP 110, it might pick up on VP 110, but where it's tuned on 93 and you put VP 110 in it, it slows it down on motor. But also, well, the reason we put the VP 110 in there is because we're spraying off the rail. And that setup did like a champ. Regulator, one side to carburetor, one side to nitrous. It worked just fine. But the reason we put the VP 110 in there is because you got to have that extra octane when you're spraying that much horsepower, spraying that much nitrous. So we just put the VP 110 in the tank, and then we drain it, and then switch back to 93 for motor. But yeah, get some videos of the bracket race, and hopefully Christopher can win him a trophy. He ain't won him a trophy yet. Chris is changing the plugs. I'm being lazy. But they all look good. There's little black spots on the porcelain, but I believe that's carbon deposits where it's running so fat. But you can. I'm no expert at reading plugs, but on some of them, I know it's got some idle time on them. But some of them, you can see the hint of a timing mark. Can't really see it on the camera, But yeah, it's about right in this area where my fingernail's at. I don't know. I think the tune on the nitrous is way off, is what I think. And because I mean the car should go faster, I think. So probably next time before we spray again, we'll get some new plugs and we'll go make some Mexico hits. Mexico. But and shut it off right after the hit and then pull the plug and see where the timing strap's at, because I guess that's the best way to do it. Again, no expert on this. Just trying to learn it. See on this one, yeah, you can see this one really good. Let's zoom in and see if we can see it. See, this one looks like it's further down. Like right in here where my fingernail's at. So according to that, that still needs more timing. Unless that's a mark, I don't know what that is. Again, not really sure what I'm doing when it comes to reading plugs. But I know you can see that timing strap. So maybe, like I said, do some Mexico hits on the highway. And shut it down right after the hit. That way we can get a good reading on the plug and see what the timing strap says. And maybe cut some open and see what the fuel ring says. But other than that, man, those all look pretty good. And Christopher spark plugs are really easy to get to. You can actually take them all out with a wrench, just a 5/8 wrench. That's the hardest one. You got to take these two out and reach up inside here to get to that one. Now if that dipstick wasn't there, it'd be a lot easier. And that's probably the second hardest one, because when I do it, I've got to put one hand on this side and one hand on this side to screw it in. But that side over there, it's stupid easy. Now that car over there, there's one spark plug under one of the primaries, under one of the header tubes, that you can't get off unless you take the header off, which is, you think they'd put more thought in these, because I mean there's more room here that they could have, there's more room on that car for the header to come out than as close as they've got it to the spark plug. It just don't make no sense to me, but oh well, don't matter. I don't know. But we're almost done. We got the VP 110 drained out of it. He's almost got the plugs changed. I think he's got one more left. We'll time it, put it at 34. I mean, according to our balancer pointer, 34 is where it ran the best on the dyno. So I've had a few people tell me, I've actually, any small block Chevy I've ever seen usually likes 36 to 38. But I've had people tell me, and people that know what they're doing, like I watched a street racing channel, even he said 40 to 42, and then someone commented in the comments said 40 to 42, but I don't know. But again, this one wasn't measured for drop dead center, so we're not exactly sure if that pointer and that balancer are where they should be, but we fooled with the timing on the dyno. I mean, I think we went up to as high as 38 with that pointer configuration, pointer balancer configuration, and it didn't like that. And 34 is where it liked it the most. So, and it was done on an actual dyno, a Mustang dyno. It put down 410. It put down 410 at about 6,400 RPM, and the horsepower was actually still going up, and it started valve floating. So, but on a plus note, them springs fixed the valve float. There is no more valve float. It'll rev to 7,000. It actually, if you rev it out to 7,000, you lose ET, so it don't like to be shift there. So it likes to be shift around 66, which is where the float was happening before. But even with these 350 gears and 28-inch, well, with the 26s anyway, out the back door, it was hitting valve float pretty bad before it hit the trap. So the 28s, I don't know, you said about hitting about 66, so that was the biggest problem with the springs is we was hitting valve float before we finished the quarter mile. It not so bad with the 28s. Probably still could have got away with it, but I think the plans for this car, we're going to port the heads, have Lloyd Elliott port the heads, and port our intake a little bit and match it up to the, because there's even this big intake, it doesn't fit the runner on the head. There's a lip there.
Way small. Actually, we got pictures you could probably drop in the video.
Yeah. But yeah, the runners on the intake are not as big as the runners on the heads, so it'd probably help if we match those up. And I think we're going to go to a solid roller. I think Austin might be interested in that cam and lifters, and we're going to, maybe over the winter, we're going to put a solid cam in it. A more nitrous friendly solid
Then we
cam.
have to change the springs and the lifters again.
No, I don't know. I think those springs might still be good. We can ask comp cams about
The
that.
solid rollers got a lot more spring pressure.
Yeah.
Hydraulic roller.
Yeah, we'll see. Changing them springs really wasn't that bad. It was time consuming, but it really wasn't hard. But yeah. It's what time is it? Well, let me see the time. I think it's about 12:30. The time trial started at 2 o'clock, so only thing left to do is set the timing and go fill that jug up with 93. Put 93 in it, and then if he probably wants to put more than that in it. And my jugs are full, all my other jugs are full, so we'll go to the gas station and get some more gas. But yeah, time it and put the 93 in it and go bracket racing. Just run Sportsman a quarter mile. Fun. All right, back at Kentucky Dragway. Parked right by the tower. Chris is going to go turn in his tech card. There we are, number 12. But we're number 12. That's a good picture right there. This side there ain't very many people, but that side over there, I don't know if y'all can see all the way back there, but it's packed on that side. That's the pit side. That's where most of the racers park. We usually park over on this side just because. Sometimes we'll park over there though, but yeah, that's pit side. That's where the guys, most of the big trailers and stuff park, but the big trailers can park on this side too, but most of them park over there. That's where the return road comes down. And that's the tower and concession stand. There's the little radio station thingy, and there's a booth up front you pay at, and there's the restrooms. That's the staging lanes over there. They just now called the mini dragsters up, or whatever they call them things, the kitty dragsters that actually go faster than most cars do, which is kind of cool. But yeah, going to do some bracket sportsman racing and see if we can't do something. Gonna run on a motor. I haven't checked the DA yet, but I'm gonna guess it's around, I'm gonna guess 2,000 right now probably. Alright, Chris putting some more gas in the car with the cool little siphon thing. I highly recommend these things, man. If you guys are putting gas in jugs and stuff like that. But anyway, the DA is 2,700. It's a lot higher than I thought it would be. The DA is 2,700. It's just going to go up because it's going to get hotter in 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, you stick that thing down in the jug. I got it from Harbor Freight. I had to put it in a little adapter and extension on it to make it smaller because this wouldn't fit down in the hole. But yeah, you just stick it in there and you shake it a few times and boom, it takes off and goes all by itself. You set your jug on top of your car if you're worried about gas or scuffing up your pretty car. Put you a towel down or something, and yeah, and it empties it out in about 5 minutes, man. Probably not even 5 minutes, is it? 5 gallons. Boom, it sucks it through there quick. But yeah, if y'all do like we do and switch gases a lot and Or if you're on E85 and you got a gas station a long way away and you're running your car too low and you got to get gas in a jug and bring it back, I'd highly recommend getting one of those, man. A little shaker. It's a shaker siphon or something like that. But yeah, they're awesome. You gonna win today, Chris? It should run 11.7, 11.8 in this weather. 2700 DA. That's what it should run. But we're back on gas now, so that's when it should pick. I'm gonna say 11.6.
It still smells like race gas right now.
Yeah, it ain't. I got it all out of the float bowls, but good burnout. Probably empty the float bowls, but we'll see. I'm gonna say 11.7. All right, well, we're in the staging lanes for the first time trial pass. We're on motor. I think we about got all the AFR went up, so that usually means the race gas is out of it. It runs richer on the race gas by quite a bit for some reason. But anyway, yep. Cat got on the car even after he washed it. But yeah, here we go. All right, here we go. First time trial. They had an antifreeze spill on the track. So I walked up here and sat down. I wasn't going to take a video down there, but I got tired of standing down there. That antifreeze is hard to get off the track. It took me a while to get it off. That truck in the far lane, it's pretty fast. $11.76.
84 miles an hour, 11.76 for Terry Wilson over here on the top.
Okay, here's the Kentucky Dragway app for that pass, and as I expected at this DA, it would run 11.7. And I always like to DA out my times. This is the best way to tell if your car is picking up anything from any mods that you do, or if your car is running correctly. Anytime you DA it out, no matter what the DA is, this bottom number, the 11375 and 119 in his case, should show the same every time. And this was the best DA corrected time. So if we ran this car at 0 DA, that's what it should run.
All right, here's Chris, round 2 of time trial.
64 miles an hour. This is our sportsman class. They do run a quarter of a mile for their competition. Logan Dennis with the S10 over here on this side, and Terry Wilson in the Pontiac.
$11.86 at 114.
Okay, not sure if you noticed on this time slip in the last one, they were putting his car number in wrong for some reason. It clearly said 12 on the side, but either way, they had him down as car 80 and they were calling him Terry something, I don't know. But anyway, the car slowed down this time, and Christopher was trying a little different shift point that it did not seem to like. And as you can see, that is reflected on the DA corrected time, because this was the worst DA corrected time it ran.
Like I said, I got one.
All right, here we go.
Sometimes you'll pick up on it.
First round, double buybacks. We're going 11.75. Ran 11.76, and he tried to short shift it and ran like 11.8 something. I can't remember, but Yeah, we're gonna go to 1175 because the DA dropped just a touch, just a little. It went from 2780, 2774, 77, something like that, to 2650. So we're gonna go 1175. And this is the field. There's 12 cars, but I think one car broke, so there's like 10 cars. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, there's 13 now. Some must have come in late. There was another truck, but I think it broke down. It was what antifreezed the track, so let's see what happens. All right, here comes first round of elimination. Chris wins.
55 dial. Two more step in. This is Sportsman round number 1. Chris Tester, 80 Firebird this side, 1175 dial. Will chase the Silverado driven by Connor Murphy out of Jacksonville, Kentucky with a 1420 dial. Jeffersonville. Sorry about that, Connor. You thought I'd picked your house up and moved it on you. Connor Murphy's trying to hold off Chris Tester. And Chris Tester gets it.
Chris gets the W in the first round. A bunch of more people showed up. Stole his parking place. Yeah, boy. Why'd you get the yellow time slip? That guy keeps giving the wrong time slips out.
Yeah, but at least they put car number 12 this time.
Yeah, they even said your name right this time. They were putting him number 80.
So I got out there and I passed him and I let off.
Yep,
And then I
you did perfect.
I just kept letting off, so that's why it's so slow.
Yeah, I noticed.
You heard it?
So Chris had a bad 60, or a bad reaction, but he had an even worse one. So Chris got a 1.3 basic head start right off the bat. And the guy ran a 1462 on a 1420, so he was 0.4 over. So Chris was so far ahead out of him, he just let off the gas and coasted in front of him. That's exactly what you do in bracket racing. So
It's
Chris
not good
won.
data though for what we're gonna dial in. It kind of sucks. I keep thinking I'm leaving early and I'm leaving late.
Yeah.
I don't want a red light. I'm being scared.
So that guy could have ran dead on, and Chris could have ran 2.8 within his time, and then they would have tied. So that's how the reaction time works. You get a head start. You basically, you can add the 162 to what you run over and under, and the lower time wins. Of course, if you red light, you lose right off the bat. If you run on under your time, you lose right off the bat. If both of you run under your time, whoever runs under the time the most loses. And then if neither one of you break out or red light, then it's whoever has the lowest reaction time and runs closest to their time. Those two numbers added up. So Christopher run, let's call it 0.3 over his time, and then had a 162, so we'll say 0.462. And this guy, let's just call it, it's a 0.29, and he ran 42 over, so he was like a 0.72. So, and Chris had the lower he was within closer of his time, and the reaction time, those two added together, his is lower, so he wins. So that's basically how that works. But yeah, we're moving on to round 2. Double buybacks. Hopefully he don't have my curse. When there's single buybacks, I win one, then I lose. Whereas double buybacks, I win 2 and lose.
That was absolutely terrible, man.
But yeah, that was a bad 60. But the other guys that was a bad reaction time. I keep saying 60.
60 foot was decent.
That was a bad reaction time. And but his was way worse. So, and what Chris can do is he can look at his 330, which is the T1. He can look at his 660, which is T2, and get an idea if he ran faster or slower than that 1176 from earlier. And so that's what we're going to do now. Now if you look at these time slips together, 1176 on the right, we're going to look at the T1 and the T2 times to see if we ran faster, so because he had to let out up top. So we didn't run faster. So we're going to stay at 1175 dial in unless the DA drops considerably by the next round.
And here's the Kentucky Dragway app time slip for this one. I didn't DA this one out because he let off the gas at the end, as you're supposed to do. If you get out in front of him, you just let off. You don't want to break out.
Well, ain't been pretty so far, but we made it past first round, and now it's raining. So hopefully this goes away, and I can start getting better reaction times, because these have been terrible.
Alright, so the rain didn't last long at all. Didn't even have to dry it up, and we're up for round 2. We dialed in 1168 this time because the DA's dropped from 28-ish, 2800, around 2800 to 2300. Nope. Sorry for checking while I was walking there, guys. Guys and girls. Oh, Chris gets the win, 1172 on 1168. Won't focus.
For the win, 1238 off the 1230 dial. Logan had a little bit to work with up front. Cole Dennis, 1857. He ran 200ths over and gave up just quite a bit up front in that run. Jamie Dion, Frankfort, Kentucky, S10. 1110 is the dial. 1168 for Chris Tester's Flying Firebird over there on the right side. All right, again, Super Pro double entries only. You should be in 1 and 2. Juniors, you should already be in lane 7 and 8. The race is on. The S10 coming on like a freight train down there. Can he get it done? Quarter of a mile away. Your winner will be... Oh, Jamie breaks out down.
Chris is fist pumping with the W. Yeah. Second round win. No more buybacks, so now it's game on.
He broke
They
out.
actually give you the white slip this time.
He broke out.
You,
0.049, that's not terrible, right? That reaction time, I knew I left late too.
yeah, that reaction time, but his was pretty bad too. So the opponent had a .132 reaction. Chris had a .168. Is that what it says? 188. But the other guy broke out by .054. So that guy, if he'd have seen Chris in the rear view and hit the brake, he could have beat Chris.
He was hitting the brakes.
He didn't hit the brakes enough and broke out, and Chris gets the W.
I saw him come around me. He was passing me so much. I was like, man, he treated me. So that's probably why he's so far ahead. But
Yeah.
got lucky.
Yeah.
The terrible reaction.
Round 3.
So I think this one was his fastest actual time, but it wasn't the fastest DA corrected. And since the DA dropped, we did go with an 11.68 dial in on that one.
All right, I thought I hit record, but I didn't. Chris ran 1175, got the win on 1166 dial in. I thought he'd get faster with the DA dropping, but it's not for some reason. But we got the win on to the 4th round.
Off the 1230 dial. Logan gave up about 200s up front. And Brian Hale's turn in the Dodge over there, the 1523 bright red Dodge. And Chris Tester working his way up with a black Firebird over here on this side, dialing 1166. So the red Dodge leaves first, and then Chris will chase with the Firebird. All right, remaining Super Pro cars need you to 1 and 2. Remaining Super Pro cars need you to 1 and 2, please. Somebody in trouble. And Chris Tester, your winner in the fight.
Woo! Yeah! Got her again, big dog.
Hell yeah. Got that light .092. Hey, that AFR gate was pegged out again, 10 rich.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think it works.
Yeah, it might be wrong.
Yeah, it must not work, dude. All right, let's see what we got here. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Let's try to zoom in on it. Maybe that'll help. I went to record your race and I forgot to hit the button, or I missed the button or something. I don't know.
All right, Ryan.
So he got a 096. So he got a 10th right off the tree, man. Beat him by a 10th off the tree. So I give Christopher plenty of room there. And then he only run 04 over, so it's a good thing you got him a 10th off the tree. And Christopher gets the win. Good thing you treat him, because Chris was 09 over.
What's the over-under?
And then he was 04 over, but Chris got him by a 0.1 off the tree. So Chris wins by 053. Yeah.
I barely came around him.
Moving on to the 4th round. Dang, maybe we should put it at 1170. It ain't moving to go faster for some reason.
I feel like once you put it at 1170, that's when it's like, all right, 11.6.
Yeah, let's go back to 1168.
So unbeknownst to us, the the car was slowing down for some reason. It wasn't really slowing down, but it should have started going faster since the DA was dropping. It actually should have been running in the 1160s like we were dialing it in, but unbeknownst to us, the catch can tube that's connected to the valve cover popped off, and it sprayed oil all over the driver's side plug, so I'm sure that caused some marking and caused some issues there. So the whole side of the motor was drenched in oil. How it didn't drip on the track when he was staging and stuff is beyond me, and because if it did, they would have said something for sure. But I think that hurt the times a little bit, and maybe that's why it wasn't dropping ET when the DA was dropping.
All right, apparently I forgot to hit the record button last round, but this is 4th round right here. There's 6 cars left. The truck's gonna have a huge head start. It's dialed in 17 something. There's the truck. Red lit. And around 1176. Well, that's it. We made it 4 rounds. 6 cars left. With all the buybacks, that's equivalent to like 48 cars. So, not bad. Not bad at all.
Chris Tester fouls out his opportunity. And Greg Walling, your winner, 1735 off the 1733 dial, is Chris 008 Red as he left the starting line.
All right, Chris got the red light, but you know what?
0.008.
Oh my God, he red lit by 8 thousandths. Man.
That guy pointed a .028, so I had to do something.
Yeah, that guy's really good in that truck, actually.
He
So,
double bowled me.
Chris had to do something there. But I mean, a 008 red light, 1733, and he run a 39.
I don't know why the car's going slower and slower.
I don't either. It should be going faster and faster. That's weird.
You had to look
Oh, I'm
over it.
shaking.
Something's wrong with it.
But yeah, Chris red lit 008. The car should be going faster because the DA is actually 2,000 now, and it should have picked up at least a tenth, and it's not picking it. It's not picking up with the air, so I don't know what's going on there. But either way, we went 4 rounds. We made it to the 4th round, and we didn't do no buybacks. No buybacks, and that's equivalent to racing 48 cars, man. 4 rounds, there were 6 cars left, so if you do the math, if my math serves me correctly, with all the buybacks, that was like racing 48 cars. And we made it to the last 6, and I barely lost. I'm seeing if he cut a 000 light, if he still could have won.
No.
So he was over under 02,
Car
and
ran
then
way off.
03, so that's 05.
I have to look over it and see why.
And then Chris ran 08 over, so he wouldn't have won regardless. Even if he cut a perfect light, he still wouldn't have won. That truck, that little 5.3 truck, been running dead on just about all night. But yeah, this is about what, the 2nd, 3rd time bracket racing. And he made
in
it
a couple of months.
made it to the 4th round
The
with
lights are getting better.
all wins, no buybacks, man.
Buybacks, yeah.
And an 008 red, you can't complain about that. That's good, man.
Yeah. Because I saw that truck pull up next to me, and they were like, "Man, he's cutting a light. He's cutting a light." And I was like,
Yeah, so he took a shot at it. I don't blame him. Even if he cut a 000, we thought with the DA dropping, the car would go faster and faster, so we dialed it in lower and lower. But for some reason, it ran 11.72 to 11.76, no matter if the DA was 3,000 or if it was 2,000. But my brother came into town to watch Kentucky beat Florida from Michigan. Kentucky beats number 10 Florida and moves to 5-0, and he's heading to my mom's house along with my nephew, Chris's cousin. So we're going to put the car up and head over there and eat some chicken and dumplings. And you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.